Well, a good Saturday morning to everybody that has joined us on this Smart Training Series. My name is John Dehart, calling in today from Sandy, Utah. So we're going to get the final lesson or I guess training of this series today is number 7, folks. It is called Building for Big Events. And I'll tell you what, while there is no real magic bullet in the world called network marketing, this is about as close as it gets. So, take good notes on this webinar because there's really some good information on here. I've got a special offer for everybody at the end of this webinar, so stick around to the end because you'll be excited. So as we kick off here, I think the thing that's really critical to understand is that meetings make money. And so I learned early on in my career that if you want to make a little bit of money in network marketing, you want to make $300, $500 a month, you sell products, right? You just retail. If that's all somebody wants to do, that's great. If you want to make a little more money, replace an income, you sell the opportunity. And so you're out there pitching about the business, and certainly we've got a great business that people can be promoting. But if you want to make an outrageous amount of money in network marketing, you sell tickets. And that's the key. It really is about building for big events. And so, if we go back and we look, let's kind of cover these real quick. We have got great products for people, for our reps, our brand partners, to be able to put out there and promote. And you can find those in your back office today. We've got what we call backpacks, vacation packages. We call them backpacks in the industry for short. And there's some great ones on there. There's one on there for Touch of Magic Disney. So that's going to a Westgate resort, staying at Westgate. 2 Touch of Magic tickets. That means you get everything at Disney. You get to come back and it's a 2-day ticket. So it's 2 tickets for 2 days. And then you get $100 worth of dining dough on top of that. That vacation package, that backpack, $600. And somebody, a brand partner would make $120 on that. So you see very easily that somebody can make money selling our products, selling the opportunity. If you're out there sponsoring building, we know that the Global Traveler Pack, if you're ranked up to Jade, and by the way, folks, we've got a Jade promotion going right now till the end of the year. Somebody sponsors in with our Global Traveler Pack, they are immediately upranked to Jade. So the very first person that they sponsor with the Global Traveler Pack, they're going to make a $100 fast start, and they're going to make $120 in the coded differentials. So, that's $220 right out of the gate. We've got a little duplication scenario here that, you get 2 out of the gate, and then those 2 get 2, and you get 2 more. Let's say month number 2, you've made $1,000. You have already covered your entry fee into Global Yellow Ads. We don't talk about return on investment here because that has some legal connotations, but you can see very quickly you spent $9.99 to get in. By month 2, if you get 2 and those 2 get 2 and you get 2 more, you put $1,000 back in your pocket, you're flush. So, very easily we can sell the opportunity, and we've got a great opportunity to sell great comp plan, great products, traveling the world. And then number 3, sell tickets. And what does that mean? That really means building for big events. That's what we're talking about. So whether it's our corporate conference, whether it is, going to the Hard Rock this May 17th as a destination, it's building for those events. And we're going to talk about the importance of that and the psychology of that, really what it does inside of your group. And so, those are building for the big events. I want to take one step back here real quick and just talk about, really the importance of the meeting in general, right? Building for events. That event could be in your living room to start with, And so I think to some degree, as I survey all of network marketing, really technology is a great thing. I mean, look at what we're doing right now. We're doing a great training. We've got a webinar going on. We're training number 7 of the series, right? And so, and we're utilizing technology to be able to do that. And so technology can be great for connecting with people. It can be great for sharing information, just like we're doing today in the training. But it can never, ever, ever be the substitute for getting together with people. Because when you get together with people, it really is the glove that binds. That should actually be the glue that binds, right? I mean, that's what puts people together and keeps them together, is getting together belly to belly. It's that social interaction. It's connecting with people. We're a relationship business, right? And certainly we can go a long way to build a relationship online, but something magical happens when you get together with your team or with people and with people from other teams. You just, I can't say enough about it. It is incredibly, incredibly important if you want to build a long-term stable group, because it is that culture, it's that binding, that glue that holds it all together. And so technology is great, but we really, really have to get together with people on our team at these types of events. And so, I say that because there's an argument out there that you'll hear today that with, technology and you can broadcast a major event over the internet and people can, have it piped right into their living room and there's really no need to have these events anymore. Here's the thing. The people that say that are not top money earners in our industry, okay? So you got to be really, really careful who you take advice from, because the top earners in our industry will tell you destination events are magical. They're critical for the building of your business, for the long-term stability and for the building of the business. And so, I've listed just a couple of things here that happen, and this is what happened for me, okay? Really, three key things happened in my network marketing career that I'd like to share with you. And so the first one is, typically at these events, if somebody's there, they're serious about our business, you're going to hear from speakers, you're going to hear from leaders, you're going to hear from great trainers, you're going to hear from people that are in the trenches that built it, that struggled to build it. You're going to find there a defining moment. And a defining moment is just something that trust me, you'll be able to look back 10, 15, 20 years from now. I've got the advantage of having some age on me now, where I can look back and I can point to an event that I went to when I was 24 years old in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and say, that's where I made the decision. That was my defining moment, that I was going to go pro, that I was going to be a full-time network marketer, that I was going to build this, I was going to live a life that people dream about. I was going to crank up my own engine. I was going to throw away my watch. If you notice today, I still do not wear a watch. I'm not going to be bound by time, right? And somebody else punching my clock. So I made the decision right then. It was a defining moment for me that I was going to go pro and I was going to be big in this business. And that happened at a destination event. And I think part of the reason for that is number two, social proof. I saw others there having success. And you know what? If they could do it, I can do it. I saw other people there that said, you know what? This network marketing thing is good. It's really, really good. And, it's easy when you're out there and you're talking, to the folks that are not part of our group, that don't quite understand network marketing, to have some negativity rub off on you, right? Because there's some folks out there that are negative about our industry. Oh, that'll never work. It's one of those pyramid things. They can't even spell pyramid, but they know it's a pyramid. And so going to one of our events or multiple events where you see is social proof. You see other people having fun, making it happen. That is key in our business. So that's the second reason to go. Number three was peer pressure, because one of the other decisions I made is next time when I come back here, I'm going to be the guy up on stage. I'm going to be walking across the stage getting an award, because there's always, always, always recognition at the events, and that peer pressure and that person that says, you know what, that's going to be me. I'm going to go do it. And so really, really, destination events are key, and I'll tell you what, every top money earner in our industry, and I can survey company after company after company. I can survey, I've got a very good friend, a female friend who is just blown up in this industry. She's making $40,000, $50,000 a month now. They're an online business, and she will tell you the importance of driving to events, getting belly to belly, because they do one every quarter, and they put thousands of people in the room, right? So, obviously, if they're an online business, they're training people online. Why are they getting together? Because it's critical for the long-term success of their business. It's critical that people have defining moments, that they have social proof, that they see other folks out there, and that there's peer pressure, recognition placed on that brand new person that's there that says, you know what, I'm going to be that person. And it's absolutely critical that these things happen. And for us folks, we really have two types of destination events. And the good news is they're both really cool. They're both about having fun. We've got our corporate trainings, right? But where do we do our corporate trainings? We do them at a resort. That's where we're doing our events at. And so when you come to one of our corporate trainings, whether it's Park City or Orlando's, the big ones that we've had thus far, it's a great opportunity to stay and play, right? To train and play, where you get the opportunity to learn, but then you also get the opportunity to taste a little bit of the lifestyle. And so that's what's really, really cool about our business. The second type of destination event we have, you see them. These are our destination dream trips, right? We're just kicking that concept off, but equally cool, right? Less on the training, more on the fun. But guess what? That is equally important to your business. Why? Because other people want to do what you're doing, right? And it's very, very good to get away, because even in whether it's our corporate training or whether it's a destination dream trip, there really is something magical about getting away, even if it's just for 2 or 3 days, to clear your mind, to focus exclusively on the Family Vacation Network. I cannot tell you what a big deal that is and how important that is for your business. So our destination dream trips, right now we've got the Daytona 500 coming up, and many of you know that we also have our Cancun trip coming up May 17th. This is a destination dream trip. We're going to the Hard Rock in Cancun. 6 days, 5 nights, all inclusive, airfare, everything, $2,900. That with your beach bucks, you could knock that trip down to $1,900 for two. Everything, folks. You arrive at the hotel at the Hard Rock. You take your wallet, you take your passport, you put it in the safe because you're not going to need it. That's what we're talking about on our dream trip. So that one's coming up. If you didn't understand what I said about beach bucks and being able to get that trip for $1,900 through the beach bucks and 3 years is free, guys, get in touch with your upline. You need to learn our compensation plan and how 3 years is free actually works so that you can start acquiring free value season nights that you can trade for beach bucks, and you can spend those beach bucks to knock down the price of your trip. So you've got to understand how that works. Get to your upline. Today's not that training. We'll do that training soon again, but get with your upline. Don't wait for that training. Make sure you get trained. So destination events, folks, can be absolutely magical. And here's the deal. And I call this breaking the code because, like I said early on this training, while there is no silver bullet in network marketing, in FVN there's no silver bullet, right? This is about as close as it gets. And here's what it is. I remember the first event. I had the luxury really of, this was this Fort Lauderdale event I told you about early on. I had the luxury of going to this event, and I'll talk a little bit about going there and making it happen. But I got up to go use the restroom. I came back. I was standing in the back of the room, and here I am. I look over, and I'm standing next to the top money earners, one of the next top money earners, or next to one of the top money earners in the company. And so, at the time, I think I was 24, and, I'm not a shy person by nature, but it's kind of like, what do you say? So I just kind of reached out my hand and introduced myself, and he introduced himself, and I said, so, what's the secret? And it really didn't take him by surprise because everybody wants to know what the secret is, right? What is the secret to doing it? And he said, John, you look in this room. how many people you think? I said, well, roughly 1,000. He said, yep, almost spot on, right at 1,000 people. And he goes, here's the reality. The next event that we have, of the 1,000 people that are here, only 500 are going to return. That means 500 dropped out. And the event after that, of the original 1,000, the event after that, only about 250 are going to return. And he said, here's your job, to make it to the 250. Your job is to be at every event. That is key. And that is the secret. Now, he said, look, you're going to have to develop some other skills along the way. You know, he was not shortchanging the importance of learning how to invite, learning how to present, learning how to follow up, all of the 7 skills that we just went through. But he said the key is to survive. The key is to make a commitment right now that no matter what, whatever it takes, you are going to be at that next event. And here's what he said. Of those 250 people that return 2 events from now, their income will be 4 times the average of everybody else in the room. So if we take those folks, we take all the income average, the 250 that came to the second event, their income would be 4 times higher on average than everybody else in the room. And guess what? That number climbs every event after. And so he said that is really the single key to making events, or to making your business grow. It's surviving. I've got a picture here. I had the opportunity to meet Bethany Hamilton when we were in Hawaii a couple of years back, right before the movie came out. And I'll tell you what a great girl, what a great inspiration. Because here's a girl, you see her on a surfboard with one arm because the shark took the other arm. And she got back in the water, she paddled out. She's a survivor. And folks, in our business, the key is to survive. You know what? And here's the thing. Because something really magical happens in your brain when you do this. And it's that you start to see yourself as, I'm going to make it. I'm a warrior. I'm going to do this. All right? Something happens. And I'm not underestimating, that it's a huge commitment for a lot of you out there. But what I am saying is, you got to do whatever it takes to be at these events. You just can't miss one. You've got to make it a priority. And so, that first event I was telling you about, we drove from North Carolina down to Fort Lauderdale. I mean, we jumped in the car. Let me tell you something. If that event would have been in California, we would have driven to California from North Carolina to that event, because at that point, I committed. I said I'm in, And so you got to do whatever it takes. If that means rideshare, that means rideshare. You don't have to fly first class or even a direct flight to go to one of our events. If you got to make 2 or 3 or 4 stops along the way and change planes and do all those things because the ticket's a couple $100 less, then do it. That's what you got to do. Room share. Hook up people, stay in the same room. For goodness sakes, you don't have to have a suite in order to go to one of these events. If you got to eat from the grocery store instead of ordering room service, do that. And for me, here's the thing. The minibar was always off limits, completely. That was not in the budget, not even close to being in the budget. But the reality is that you've got to make this a priority. You've got to see the importance of building for this event and being at every one of these events. So it's really about doing whatever it takes to get to one of these events. Now, that's step 1. Step 2, bring your team along, okay? And the second part of this is equally important. You've got to be a promoter, not an announcer, okay? And let me tell you the difference. An announcer tells people about the event, and a promoter says you got to be there, okay? And you got to do whatever it takes to be there, because here's the reality. And if you look right now, I know there are half of you on this call that are having this conversation with yourself. I can't afford it. What am I going to do with the kids? How am I going to get a babysitter? Who's going to watch the dog? There's just a lot of things that come up. There's a wedding that weekend, a cousin's getting married. There's a lot of things that come up. Life's what happens when you make plans. I get it. But I also get that if it's a priority, you do whatever it takes. And as the upline, it is your job to help your team come. And I don't mean financially pulling out your credit card. What I mean by this is they're going to give you a story as to why they can't come, and you can either, here's the thing, in life, there are buyers and sellers. Somebody is always selling something. So we're either buying their story or they're buying ours. One of the two. Okay? So it's important that we hear their story, but then it's important that we promote to them the importance of events, how critical it is to be at these events, what it can do for your business, what it did for your business, you know? And maybe you don't have that story yet. You got to develop that story because your team needs you to step up for them and say, no, this is important and here's why. And let's work together. Let's see if we can develop a plan and sit down and game plan how we can get you to this event. Because the reality of it is this, folks, when you look at building this, and I mean really, I'm going to go back here for a second, and then I'm going to get to this one. When you look at this, you almost have to look at yourself as you're the CEO, because you are. You're the chief executive officer of your company. And the value of your stock can be placed on how many people in your team show up for these meetings. And I'll tell you what, if we were to track the curve, okay, your income with the number of people that are coming from event to event, if that number of people going from event to event is on the increase, you're getting a 20 or a 50% increase every single time. The first meeting, you may only have 5 or 10 people from your group there, but the next meeting, you have 50, right? You're driving, you see the importance. And the next meeting after that, you got 150. And the next meeting after that, you got 250. Folks, I promise you, as that number goes up in your group, so will your income proportionally or not proportionally. Your income may explode beyond the proportion of how many people are going there. You know, you may see a 50% increase, or 100% increase. You go from 100 people in one meeting to the next quarter, or 50 people to 100, and that's a doubling. But guess what? Your income may have grown by 3 times the amount. I cannot, again, stress the importance of these meetings and the importance of you really standing up for your team and talking to them gut level about how critical it is to bring them along, that they have to be there, to make a commitment to be there, and working with them to work out a plan. And sometimes, folks, believe it or not, it's a 5 or 10 minute conversation. You know, they just need somebody to say, this is important, you know, and here's why. And they'll say, okay, I'll make it happen. You know, sometimes you got to get a little bit more in depth. You got to help them plan out, okay, how can we do this? How can you scrape and save? Because, folks, I'm telling you, early in my career, I had to scrape and save and, you know, beg, borrow, whatever it took to get to these events. But they were important. We had 4, 5, 6 people in a room at one time, you know. But it was important that we were at these events. And you know what happened when we had 4, 5, 6 people in a room? A huge camaraderie built. You know, we were in there together. We were in the trenches. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I recommend it. I think it's a great way to go because that's when you're in the trenches working with folks. You're locking arms. You're saying, you know what, we're in the foxhole together. Let's go make this happen. Let's take the hill. That's what it's all about. So, folks, bring your team along. And I want to conclude this because there is a very, very special strategy and a special builder strategy. I saw Wayne Bobbledike on here a little bit earlier. I'm hoping that he takes me up on this offer. But there's a special meeting for you, okay? There's a special strategy to explode your group over the course of the next 90 days. And so, folks, here's the thing. You see my email address down there. You see my cell phone number, okay? I don't give those out readily. Now, here's the deal. You use these if you're interested in exploding your group. If you want to be a serious builder and blow your group up, I mean huge, this is the call that you need to make. You send me an email, call me, text me, whatever. This email address, this telephone number is not for I didn't get my first night free on me cards, okay? That's a customer service call. Don't call me for that one. But if you're serious about building a group, blowing it up, there's a strategy. I'm not going to cover it on this webinar, but there's a very, very serious strategy on how to do that. that has blown up huge checks throughout the industry, and it will blow up a huge check for you as well in your group. It will be the jump start to your business if you're willing to take it serious and go for it. But folks, I'm telling you, I call it a 90-day blitz because it is a 90-day blitz. Okay, you're going to have to put everything else aside. This is a high-end focal point. This is going for it. This is making it happen. This is blowing it up. No kidding. This one's not a joke. This is the real deal. And I'm willing to work with you on doing this. It's a very, very precise strategy for making things happen at a very different level than most people ever take it serious enough to do it. Most people treat our business like a hobby. This isn't hobby mentality. This is my profession. I'm going to get wealthy with the Family Vacation Network. So if that's you and this is something you want to do, really, I mean, you got that. It keeps you up at night. You want to make things happen. You're hungry. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm talking to a couple of folks out there. Other ones, you're missing it. I get it. But if you're that person, you feel it in your gut, you want to be somebody, this is your opportunity. This is the opportunity you've been training your entire life for. That's where you would send me an email. That's where you'd send me a text and say, hey, I'm ready. And then we'll call. We'll have a little interview. I'll make sure you're ready, okay? And that'll be my call that you're ready. And if you're not, then we'll do the steps that we need to take to get you ready. But again, this is for the serious builder. This is not, I didn't get my first night free on me cards. This is not, hey, I want to do a three-way phone call. This is the serious builder. You've got your upline to do those other things. You got customer service. This is somebody that wants to blow up their group and make significant money. And so with that, I want to thank everybody for joining me this morning. Again, the importance of meetings, whether that be one-on-ones with people, whether that be meetings in your living room, it's the glue that binds teams together right into destination events. The importance of going to destination events and what that can do for your business. Folks, third time I'm going to say it. There is no magic bullet in our industry, but this is as close as it gets, okay? If you're doing all the other things, this is the icing and cherry on top of the cake. So with that, thanks for joining me this morning. I had a great time doing this meeting. By the way, next big meeting, we got one tomorrow. If you're in the New York area, that's Rick Thompson. Frankie's going to be up there too. They've got a meeting tomorrow afternoon in New York. You should have gotten an e-card on it. Check your back office. It's in the events if you've got somebody in the New York area. And then also, we've got in 2 weeks, we've got Anaheim, California coming up. Guys, if you know anybody in Southern Cal, get them to this meeting because it is going to be spectacular. So with that, thanks for joining me on this call, and John Dehart, over and out.